All right, hello. Welcome to the ongoing odyssey of talking about my trip to Japan, which in itself was quite the odyssey. We're about halfway through now, which is appropriate since I'm about halfway through the pictures in the album as well. We took pictures at a steady rate, is I guess what I'm saying. We left Disneyland and the Disney park the morning after. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I think, like I said, that was the most unique aspect of this trip. That was the one that really will make it unique from all the other trips I've taken to Japan or will take to Japan in the future. I loved it. It was so wonderful. Watch those videos, I guess, because I think a lot of people just don't really get the appeal of Disneyland, and I think it's like hard to convey. But I did my best to, and I'm kind of curious on how it resonates with people, especially people that really haven't had experience with the park before. But putting that all aside, let's see where we head to next. This is a shot from our hotel balcony. You can see some big ships out on the ocean. It's very exciting. This is the other perspective, more big ships and ports and stuff in the distance. Big parking lot. Pretty unoccupied. Really kind of showing the prevalence of public transit in Japan over individual drivers. There's the hotel. So we set out and took public transit to our next destination, which was pretty easy to do. It was just one bus ride up to a train station, which we then could take directly into the heart of the city. This is at said train station after we took the bus. The bus went pretty smooth. This is just a nice little post box I like to see. And I think this is why I wanted to take this picture. The Japanese Craft Beer Festival. This is kind of a more recent hobby industry that has emerged in Japan. For a while, Japan, has always loved beer, but typically just kind of like draft ales that you get for pretty cheap, and they're not super strong, they're not super flavorful, they just taste like beer. And don't get me wrong, I love that stuff. I am not like a beer snob by any stretch, but I also like a lot of other types of beers. I like dark beers, I like sours, I like IPAs. I'm a fan of most genres of beer, and it's only kind of recently that Japan has really embraced those markets and started experimenting themselves with local craft brewers. So I haven't actually tried all that much. I've actually tried much more here in Toronto of Japanese craft beer brands that have been imported. And there's some that I'm really liking, so it's certainly something to explore in Japan if you're a beer fan. I was excited to see this little craft beer festival. Oh, this is cute. A little cat dessert. Have a nice day. Neko neko. Every day, eat this thing. I'm too lazy. We got a lot to cover. I liked this warning thing. This is something to really watch out for. I'm sure this has led to some problems before they so thoroughly warned you. Because you can't really tell if it's just slightly tilted. Wait 1 second. Just planning things for later in the day. Okay. This is one of the train lines. I just like taking pictures of the trains in general. I think they're just so pretty and wonderful. Shot from the train station. You can see this big Aeon Mall. This is like a chain of malls across Japan. I don't know if it's like they typically have certain stores or certain brands associated with them, but they're just like big. If you're, an Ontarian, you may know like Square One or something. This is kind of like a Square One equivalent, I would say. And they're just sort of positioned strategically throughout Tokyo and throughout other cities. So here we are in Tokyo Station. Our goal, to take the Shinkansen to Osaka. I was very, very excited for this. I am a huge fan of the Shinkansen. It left such a huge impression on me ever since I first rode it. And every trip I take to Japan has to include at least one Shinkansen ride, I think, just because it's so wonderful and pleasant. So I took a picture of this map to kind of have a frame of reference as we oriented ourselves. We got here very, very early, 10 a.m. I don't think our train was until afternoon. And I thought, that's fine, there's a lot of stuff to do at the station, and we can just kind of like make a home base. And we were trying to kind of strategically figure out where's the best resting area, where can we get food, all that good stuff. So we then did set up our little base camp while I set out to find some ekiben, station bentos, which are a Japanese tradition going all the way back to the invention of rail in Japan. Basically, each major railway station would provide these box lunches you're meant to eat on the train, typically using a lot of like regional ingredients and kind of like dishes that are representative of that prefecture or city's culture. So you can get a pretty wide variety of them. Tokyo Station, is going to have pretty much anything. So I was taking a picture of a few that I thought my mom might be interested in. She's a great lover of katsu. And, so she could not have to get up and have to haul all her luggage around. I picked out some ekiben. And we got on the train. I took this to illustrate how much legroom we had. You can see even my massive long limbs are so comfortably accommodated by the luxurious Shinkansen train. Here is my mom's ekiben. Here is mine. I got beef. It was very, very tasty. My mom got chicken katsu, also very tasty. And now we are going to go through a whole bunch of photos my mom took out the window to the best of her ability. It was incredibly comical in that she, every time I could see her going to take a picture, we would like go into a tunnel or like a wall would come up or trees would come up because you're moving so fast and like the speed at which the scenery changes such that if you want to take a picture of like a particular thing, by the very time you process that desire, it's way in the distance behind you. The main thing we wanted to see, of course, was Mount Fuji. That's the iconic image of Japan. Our train, we were fortunate enough to be on the right side. But unfortunate spoiler alert, we did not actually see Mount Fuji. It was pretty cloudy, and I think we just probably did actually see it, but didn't even recognize it because the clouds and stuff kind of obscured its iconic shape. But we did see a lot of really nice scenery. I love these colorful houses. This is so cool. Like, check this out. Because I remember my mom did this. Because she wanted to see more pictures of this place. And it's just that easy. This was featured in Penguin Highway. And apparently this is Hinataoka. Hinataoka. Neat, right? The Google Lens is phenomenal. Anyways, very pretty. More shots of that. Just really lovely towns integrated into forests. There's a lot of these, so we'll keep going at a good pace. Like the mighty Shinkansen rolling through itself. Just love the greenery, and as you can see, the mountain ranges are pretty obscured. We did not get lucky to see a nice clear view of the horizon, which is typical. I don't think I've ever been on the Shinkansen and been able to see Mount Fuji. That's just the way it is. Yeah, nice shots though. Little villages. I like the look of this bridge. Very cool. I think she deleted all the ones she accidentally took inside of tunnels, which is understandable. This is a very nice mountain. Is it Fujisan? No, but it's cool. And it's a nice clear view. This is a really lovely picture. All right, now skip ahead 2 hours and we're on like the other side of Japan. We are now in Osaka. And we had a hotel in Shinsekai. I thought that was just a great, very representative area of Osaka. You can see like the street markets, the covered markets. all sorts of very silly touristy things for Japanese tourists and international tourists. So let's explore. Let's check it out. This is again one of the famous covered markets of Osaka with all of these nice little stalls on either side. This sort of shopping street, I just feel is something that North American cities are just so lacking. Like parking mandates. It all comes down to parking mandates and how terribly they've screwed us over. And then other things too. I think there's just sort of a cultural sensibility that nobody or few small business owners want to operate in a small area with only foot traffic with a small footprint. But in Japan, that sort of opportunity is really embraced and celebrated, and just these wonderful communities can emerge. I just noticed this one I took, and then this one my mom took. Basically the same. Very cool manhole cover. This was just a little arcade I found in one of these little side street hole in the walls. Notably, it has a lot of Nintendo cabs. So these are just like Astro Cities, or I guess these are Blast Cities, but whatever. They're what they call candy cabs, where it's just like a standard 6-button joystick setup, and then you get PCBs, which are the actual game hardware that you physically swap out to make the cab run different games. A friend of mine has like 3 of these and a huge collection of PCBs, probably one of the biggest collections in North America. So I've learned quite a bit about it. It's very, very cool. It's a really neat and difficult thing to collect. And here we are with some very iconic games, their arcade releases being played. So that's very neat. View from our hotel balcony. This is a zoo. I don't remember if it's called like the Shinsekai Zoo or what. Hey, we can find out. The Tennoji Zoo. So yeah, I thought this was nice. You can see the park from our window. This was our TV, had this kind of like default program that was running, which I really liked, that just kind of showed off nearby stuff you can check out. Universal Studios Japan! Everybody knows about this main theme park in Osaka, which call Universal Studios Japan. Super Nintendo World is grand open 18th, 2021! Is that foreshadowing? I don't know. You'll have to wait until the next video. And then, of course, this is also foreshadowing Den Town, the Osaka equivalent to a place like Akiba. Den referring to electronics, and just like Akiba, kind of transitioning from a mecca for computer fans and photographers and other such hobbyists to otaku of all shapes and sizes, but definitely a focus on anime. Yeah, baby! This was our bathroom. It has this big step up for some reason. A lot of our hotels did this, and I wasn't really sure why. Maybe someone in the comments knows why a lot of Japanese bathrooms are like a step above. My best guess is that it's something to do with having to put the plumbing in this like spot underneath the bathroom. I don't know. But yeah, there's our bathroom, wash tub, instructions for the toilet. My mom said this was the first time she'd seen the instructions actually translated, and that until then a lot of the functions of the bidet were kind of mysterious to her, which is totally fair. They're pretty complicated. Awesome little painting of Homer. This is like a really cool looking bar. R&B, drill, hip-hop, trap, jazz, etc. We have karaoke. Like, this is sick. I mean, I should have gone, but we had places to be the next morning. This is a cool store right near our hotel. They're just selling a lot of very interesting fashion. I think they had some denim and stuff there too. This is the famous tower in the middle of Shinsekai. This was a very nice landmark for us. It was pretty close to the hotel. And Shinsekai is kind of laid out. We can check it out here. like things kind of fork and spork. Things branch off from the tower in the middle. So it's kind of fun to just explore all of these cities. They're all these very fun covered shopping arcades and things like that. This is underneath the tower, just a very lovely mosaic. Or maybe it's not mosaic. I think it's just painted. Very lovely mural, I guess I mean, with peacocks and such. There was like... I kind of want to puzzle through this, and maybe we can like cheat and translate to English. I thought that might work. Oh, I guess it's translating the web page into English. Okay, so if I do search images with Google, and I do this, translate. I gotta sneeze. Oh! Oh, what a terrible violent sneeze. Okay. So, as I predicted, it seems like there was a famous shogi game that took place here in April 6, 1913, during a game at the Tsukiji Club in Tokyo. Huh? Why is this thing here if it took place in Tokyo? Yeah, well, this says Tokyo. This is like the era year. Got stuck in front of his skillful pieces, lost his chest and silver. So we can kind of like do some work on our own to see what it probably means. Silver is like one of the pieces. I'm just scanning for that. This is gold. I don't see silver mentioned at all. Well, here's silver, but that's way later. Oh, this is... No, that's not silver. Where are you getting the silver from, Buster? Well, anyways. And lost his chest in silver, and which was unable to move on the board. I looked at it and said, Silver is crying. It is said that he tweeted. So this is Silver is crying. This is that quote. When I saw Silver is crying. Tsubuyaita to sarete imasu. I don't know how the heck that becomes tweeted. Continuing to hold up the flame of his tenacity for the overthrow of Sekin, Miyoshi Sakata rode from Osaka to the enemy's Tokyo. Silver is bat. He later said, my heart turned to silver and I cried. I don't know if we're going to be able to puzzle this one out. So I guess he went from Osaka to Tokyo. What? Osaka kara some sort of transport. Tokyo nori road. Okay, let's move on. It's some sort of famous game. Anyways, then we went to the Pringles store. This is simpler. My mom's a big fan of Pringles. Her sister's a big fan of Pringles. We were looking to get some Pringles merch and maybe some neat Japan exclusive flavors. Here I am with Mr. Mustachio wearing my brand new Fear of God Essentials hoodie that my friend gave me. He won it at some local auction for a very small amount of yen. I can't remember how much. And then he gifted it to me because he realized he never wears it and he wanted to get rid of it. And I said, sure, now I'm a cool hype beast. Here we are. So yeah, the Pringles store, it was pretty cool. It was actually the second floor of an umeboshi store, which kind of makes sense because there's similar snacks, flavored corn amalgamation products. But here it is, full of Pringles merch. T-shirts and all sorts of accessories, and then walls of different Pringle flavors, Pringles Gachapon. I guess that's all the pictures we took. I thought we would have taken pictures of the flavors, but there were some neat flavors there, like some sort of grilled oyster one, and no, they were like scallop, not oyster, and barbecue. and I can't remember, but a lot of interesting ones. It's another covered shopping arcade. Red Wing shoes. These are nice fancy work boots that a lot of people swear by. You can get anything in gacha. The movie The Rocketeer, which came out in 1991. Very unclear why there's gacha for this being released like right now, but here we are. There's the tower again in the distance. Osaka Shinsekai, big welcoming sign. There's a McDonald's. I really liked this conveyor belt sushi place. Had all of these gigantic signs. I really associate this with Osaka. Food signs that are like big models of food that leap off the wall. Like, look at this big fish boat up here. Anyways, we went to McDonald's. My mom really wanted to try the filet o shrimp, which is a Japan exclusive product she had seen praised. And I was told by my friend that the bacon potato pie was really phenomenal, so I had to try that. And yeah, everything was really good. I mean, I like McDonald's already, okay? I used to get McDonald's pretty often in Canada, since, you know, all sorts of stuff that we don't need to get into, you should know. McDonald's is getting pretty widely boycotted, and I've stuck with that. Because, you know, it's not like I need to eat McDonald's. It wasn't a particularly difficult sacrifice. But, you know, since it was Japan, I felt like it's an exception. We got to try some stuff. So this was the first McDonald's I'd eaten, I think, in like 9 months or so, which is a pretty long gap for me. As I said, I like it. So the excitement of having it for the first time in a long time, and just those nostalgic flavors mixed with the brand new flavors of Japan, it was pretty exciting. I got this, the Shaka Shaka chicken. Now in Canada, they just rolled out Shaka Shaka fries. I gotta say, ever since I started boycotting McDonald's, I guess, I don't know if this is actually correlation, causation, or just psychosis. It feels like they're putting out so much stuff I want. Like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sanrio crossover toys. So cool. There's some, like, burger plus fish burger. So cool. Some sort of sweet chili Junior McChicken. So cool. And now Shaka Shaka fries, where you put the fries in a bag with this powder and you shake them up and then it's all covered in the powder and delicious. So cool. I sound really pathetic right now because I remembered all of those products and I'm not even going there to eat them. That's how susceptible I am to advertisement. But I'm still holding strong. No McDonald's in Canada, at least. But yeah, the Shaka Shaka chicken... You, again, put it in the bag, you dump in some powder. I got cheese powder, shaka shaka, and then it's really tasty. This is the interior of the shrimp burger. And then my mom wanted to try the apple pie because she had heard that in Canada and North America, they switched to baking the apple pies instead of deep frying them. In like the 90s, so it's like been a long time, but she could still remember as a kid having deep fried apple pies and just like the unique crispiness of it, that lovely greasy crispy taste. And she'd heard in Japan they were still deep fried, so she got one and she was very happy, and I tried to buy it and I was very happy. She said it wasn't exactly the same, like the filling is kind of different. The filling wasn't actually all that sweet, I think, to kind of fit with Japanese sensibilities around dessert, but it was very, very tasty. This place looked awesome. You can fish and eat the fish that you catch. Isn't that fun? Look at some sort of cowfish and uni and oyster, or no, this is even crazier. It's a turban, and what is this? Some sort of barred jackknife? But yeah. Eat the fish you cook. Cook the fish you eat. Boom, boom, boom. Scallops. Turbans. Beef innards hot pot. And it's so cheap! Anyways, we didn't eat here, but it's okay. I'm just hungry. I'm just excited seeing all this stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just love these big statues. I love just how in your face and over the top everything in Osaka restaurants seems to be. Osaka has kind of the cultural connotation of being the big foodie city of Japan. Like, obviously, Tokyo has one of the best food scenes in the world as well. But in Osaka, there's this just conception of everyone there is super passionate about food. And it just kind of fits into the greater cultural picture of Osaka that, I don't know, like, I hope I'm not being too reductive or stereotypical here, but typically in media and stuff, the perception is that Osaka is a little more laid back, a little more focused on the pleasures of life, not so hurry, hurry, rush, rush like Tokyo. People even cite things, and I have no idea if this is true, that in Osaka people typically just walk slower. That there's like a noted difference in just general crowd speed between Tokyo and Osaka. Subways are less bustling, like people are more content to wait for the next train than storm the current one. Just kind of a different pace of life. And, you know, I don't know if that's really true or if that's just kind of a cultural myth that's built up. But if it's like you believe that and you kind of look for that and you allow yourself to be swayed and have things jump out to you based on that kind of expectation, it's full. It's it's enriching. I think you'll really allow yourself to experience the pleasure of this stereotypical Osaka. Like, look at that. That's so cool. This is such a great shot. This is so Osaka court. This is probably going to be the thumbnail. Just look at them. Big fish. You can see here, it's getting a little busier as we head into the evening. Restaurants and stuff opening up. This one was so cool. Big kind of paper mache stuff. This is another strange statue. I don't know what this guy's eating. Some sort of skewer. So neat. Here you can see a whole bunch of them just crowding the streetway. Different, you know, signs of prosperity and good food within. Up here you can see another strange mascot of Osaka from an expo back in the 70s. They made this very tall, very weird looking abstract sculpture that has now become another kind of de facto mascot of Osaka. It shows up in 20th Century Boys. And I remember the very first time I was in Japan, my cousin lived in Osaka, and I was down visiting him and hanging out with him and his friends, and we went to the park where this thing was. And I said, hey, that's the thing from 20th Century Boys. And one of my cousin's friends was like, oh, your cousin's like a real otaku. Like, not even, like, wow. you know that reference, but like, oh, this is concerning. Well, come on, 20th Century Boys isn't that obscure, right? I'm sure y'all know about 20th Century Boys. I don't know. You could spend all day just kind of taking a random picture and then reading all the signs and thinking about what they'd be. But a couple that jump out to me, this is like target shooting. This kanji apparently just means like bullseye. I've only ever seen it defined as like bullseye, which I think is kind of funny. And this is a pretty popular thing in these shopping arcades. I hope I took a picture of them at some point, where you use like a bow and arrow or a little pop gun to shoot targets and win prizes. You know, kind of like a carnival game, but just permanently situated in these kind of touristy spots. Here is a kanji everyone can learn. Guess what this means? It's a food, okay? You'll see this on signs for restaurants and stuff. It's a very popular kind of street food. You can get it at izakaya. Easy thing to just grab and scarf down. It is, of course, a skewer! And you can tell just by looking at it. There's the pieces of meat on the skewer. Isn't that great? There it is again. That's so easy. It's a kanji everyone can learn. But yeah, all sorts of signs of Japan. This one had some sort of sumo wrestling theme. I don't know, maybe it's like ex-sumo people were involved in making it, or maybe it's just recognizing legends of sumo. But yeah, a real amalgam of Japanese stuff. There's my mop of hair. More shots of the street. There's a lot of variants of like this type of statue. I don't know what it is exactly. But but it's pretty commonplace in Osaka. Here's the target shooting that I mentioned before. In these ones, it's very straightforward. You just hit the prize you want, and if it falls off the shelf, hooray, you won it. Other ones, it's more complicated. You, like, accumulate points, and then get rewards or something. Another little shrine to Billy Ken. Things as they. Alright, let's investigate. What is this? So, Tsutsuken Tower is the Shinsekai Tower. I cannot select text. Thank you, Osaka.com. God, Japan is so bad at web pages. Billiken, the god of things as they ought to be. Rubbing the soles of his feet makes your wishes come true. So that's a decent amount of information already. I was hoping this would show me what actual Wikipedia article this is used on. Oh, here we go. Billy Ken. Ah, so it's actually an American thing. Saw the mysterious figure in a dream. Huh. And then people just loved it. Way back in like 1912, people loved the Billy Ken. Huh. Alright. It's a lot of interesting. And then this is how he showed up in Shinsekai. Alright. Mysterious, mysterious. The god of things as they should be. The Billy Ken. There's the tower from a distance. Shooting galleries and stuff. Here's the Billy Ken again. Crawling out. Big row of gacha machines. Some Splatoon. Splatty, so huge in Japan. Some ice cream. Soda flavor, only in Japan. It's just sort of like a tangy, sort of nondescript flavor. The soda flavor. And then this was our target of this little evening adventure. The Mega Don Quixote. Now this isn't like a specific Osaka thing, but I knew I wanted to take my mom to one of these at some point. Donkey is the world's premier shopping jungle, as they say. And really it's just kind of like Target or something. It's just a store that sells a lot of stuff, carries a lot of very popular brands, has its own kind of merchandise and culture and eccentric little things. But the kind of adventure and marvel of it is that the store is organized in a very strange, arbitrary way, where you just kind of keep happening on random little displays of different things, and kind of feels like anything could be anywhere. Or maybe I'm just too stupid to navigate it. But Donkey, also very, very competitively priced. I thought this would be a great place to look for souvenirs. And, as it turns out more relevantly, a great place to buy candy. So I saw that there was one close to our hotel. I thought this was the perfect opportunity to go donkey moding, and we checked it out. So I'd been to a lot of Don Quixotes before. It's kind of like, I think for a lot of tourists, the default place you go when you need just anything because it's cheap and it's likely to have it. I have a very core memory of my friend and I, the year that we went to Japan, where he was accepted into Comiket and we were going to sell his doujinshi at Comiket. It was the morning before, the early wee hours before his day selling at Comiket. And he was like, I just remembered I never got a tablecloth for our booth. And it's like, all right, well, it's 4 a.m. Where is something open that will have a tablecloth? Donkey. So we went to a Don Quixote, and we were like trying to first figure out what we need and how we can ask for it. And it turns out they didn't even have it. So Donkey kind of betrayed us that day, and we actually ended up with no tablecloth. But I can remember so clearly standing outside the donkey on our phones, like trying to Google where we could buy a tablecloth at 4 a.m. and just hearing the Don Quixote theme song playing on loop in the background and just having this like I hadn't slept like at all in several days and just having this like very manic feeling of like, could this possibly be my life right now? Like, for real? As the dun 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 donkey Quixote. Na na dun 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 ba da dun jungle. In the theme song, it calls it a shopping jungle. Anyways, let's head into the depths of the jungle of Don Quixote. It was huge. There's a lot of stuff in it. Like this box of just the meat product from Cup Noodle. You know those like kind of mysterious meat-based protein chunks that are in a lot of instant noodles? If you ever want just a box of that, here you go. You want a duck? You want a whole duck from Duck King from Thailand? They got that at the Mega Donkey. This is the first Don Quixote I'd been to that had a grocery store. Yeah, I was going to say, I've been to a lot of Don Quixotes. I've never been to a Mega Don Quixote before. I think the biggest difference is that it just has a grocery store. I think aside from that, it's mostly the same. This is my favorite pen. Surely I have one in here. Well, here's a refill. I have like hundreds of these around. But, do I not have the actual pen? Oh yeah, no, I took it out because I needed it for class. Where the heck? I thought I had another one though. Anyways, love these pens. They're the only pens I've ever, well, the only pens I've ever used. Ever since I tried one, they've been the only pens I use. My boss at a previous job was obsessed with them, and I was in charge of ordering office supplies, and so we were always keeping these in stock, and I just started using them too, and they're just awesome. They're so smooth. You can write so fast with them. They last a long time. It's nice, clear, vivid ink. And I was really happy to see it in Japan, but it was sold out. There's Pochiko. I love Pochiko. Cinema Roll. As I was saying before, was I saying this before? Or was I saying this in an unaired video? Pochiko merch feels very few and far between in North America, whereas in Japan it feels like he is one of the stars. He is one of the like default guys to get merch, which I love because Pochiko's adorable. I guess that's all the pictures we took in Donkey. I would have thought I took more. I would have thought I took a picture of my big bag of candy. I ultimately bought a lot of candy because it was so cheap. And there was just a feeling of ecstasy just tossing it into my cart from the shelves. And then at Donkey, you can get tax-free shopping if you spend over 5,000 yen, which is like around 50 bucks. And I hit that in just candy, which is insane. So the way tax-free shopping works, at least at most stores, is if you're buying like consumables and stuff, like candy, they put it in a sealed bag that you're not to open until you get back to North America. Or leave Japan, that is. So that was very kind of exciting, the suspense of that. Anyways, we headed out from Donkey, headed back home. Beer. It's the Billy Ken beer! He's everywhere! And this thing is from, like, the Midwest. That's so weird. But yeah, beer and vending machines. Oh, this was in our hotel. This was a vending machine that was in the laundry room, because I was doing laundry that night. And this is the next morning, and that will be the next video. When we go to yet another theme park. So look forward to that if you've been enjoying my theme park analysis and enjoyment, and there'll be a lot more to come. But here's our first little taste of Osaka. Bye-bye for now.